Did you know that women are 5 times more likely than men to live paycheck to paycheck? I found that statistic odd. And yet today women have more financial potential and mobility than any other time in history. So how can that be? Let's dive in. Because here's how, as a woman, you can invest in yourself and take advantage of this unprecedented time. Women are 5 times more likely than men to live paycheck to paycheck. I really want you to think about that. Women typically invest later in life, and they invest less often in life, which makes it nearly twice as likely that retirement is less than desirable. I've seen this firsthand. I've seen this in my family. I've seen this in so many different places in my life, and I can't help but to wonder, how can this be? So I really got thinking about this, and I was at an event that I was speaking at, and it was predominantly women. And I decided to go around and just ask some of these women what they did, because they all appeared to be incredibly successful. And I was fortunate enough to find one woman, and she was in the construction business, if you can imagine that. And she'd been in the construction business for 30 years. Now, when I say construction, let's quantify that. She was in the construction business when it came to commercial concrete. Now, I was fascinated because I'd never seen a woman in concrete. In my eyes, that was a man's job. That's a dirty job. That's a hard job. I know lots of men in concrete, and they all hate it. They complain daily about it. But yet here was this woman who was wildly successful. She had been in concrete for 30 years of her life. And I couldn't help but to think to myself is, what did you do different? What was your path like? So we went down that path. And what I found is that, when she was younger, she was always fascinated by construction, the ability to build things. And she took a real liking to concrete and decorative concrete. So that's where she started. Very small jobs, like landscape jobs. And she started doing this. And then she started finding other opportunities. And she started realizing that the real money in that business was in the commercial side. Well, this is where everything started to really come together and make sense for me, because she had a huge advantage. An advantage I never really fully comprehended or understood, but one that I think more women need to really understand and take advantage of. In the commercial construction space, specifically the concrete space, I want you to think about that. Concrete is part of every single sidewalk in every city, town, every municipality. Concrete is part of every municipal building. Concrete is part of a lot of the highways and the roads and the curbs and all the drainage sewers and everything else. Just think about how much concrete there is out there. So really, when you think of a market cap, it's ginormous. So in the municipal side, the public sector side, you got to bid on this work. And there's some big players in there. There's some companies that have massive histories. Their families have been the ones running these big construction companies, getting the bids. And then comes along this woman that we're talking about in this story. And she finds this little loophole that, based on municipalities and based on the public work, because she was a woman-owned business, she got the bid. But she didn't just get the bid once. Every single job she bid on for this commercial municipal work, she was awarded. She was awarded that because there are certain rules and certain things that go into it. Because she's a woman-owned business, she gets priority over the men. Now, stop for just a second. I want you to really think about that. Now, some of you men out there listening to this, you're like, that's not fair. Well, fair or not, it doesn't make a difference. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with this woman seeing an opportunity, finding a loophole, and then finding a way to really take advantage of it. So good for her. How many more of these opportunities are out there? And I asked her, I said, if this works in this concrete business, where else does it work? She said everywhere. She said if it has anything to do with municipalities or public service work, women almost always will get the bid. And I literally said to her, I said, are you underpricing it? She said, no, I'm the most expensive. So not only is she coming in with the bids, her bids are more than her competitors, within reason, and she's still getting the work because of this little opportunity, this little loophole that she found. And she has become wildly successful. She has also had her family in the business, and many, many people have benefited from this. So if you really want to think about that, and you want to think about the opportunities out there for women, in a time where, yes, women do have a disadvantage in many, many sectors of work, but there are opportunities everywhere. And it's never about your actual resources, folks. It's about how resourceful you can be. She didn't have the resources to go against these giant construction companies, but she was resourceful and she found it. And then I go back to another woman that I know near and dear. It's my mom. My mom taught me 4 very important things. She taught me how to be resourceful. She taught me how to pay myself first and save, and how to set aside a little bit every single week, month, year, a little bit, and delaying gratification allowed that little bit of money to grow to massive amounts of money. She also taught me something about the home that she put up for collateral so that I could get that bank loan to open Fat Man board shops. What I learned there is I learned how valuable the equity in your home can be. But it's only valuable if you send that money or that equity to work for you. If that money just sits lazy, it does nothing for you. But if that money's put to good use, it can change everything for you. She taught me to invest in things that I know, like, and understand, things that I trust, things that I am an expert in. And all the other stuff is just noise, so stay away from it. She taught me what being a good parent was, which I think is one of the greatest things. Now that I have a 2-year-old, she taught me simple principles from a simple woman that have allowed me to now understand what I need to do as a father and what my legacy really is and what I need to pass on to my daughter, who will someday be a woman, who will someday have to survive in this interesting but sometimes difficult world. And she's going to have to learn how to be resourceful as well, because she's got to find opportunities like the other woman in that story. See, there's plenty of incentives out there for women-owned businesses. There are plenty of opportunities in this world, in this country, in this city, state, wherever you are, if you're looking in the right place. But if you're listening to everybody else, and you're taking advice from people that don't have the same dream, the same passion, the same, desires that you do, all they're going to do is get you to conform to their failed realities, their failed dreams. And I'm sorry, but that's not what you were put on this earth for. So I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a child. I don't care if you're a man. All of you can learn something from this. That story of that woman getting 100% of the bids that she bids on because she found an opportunity is something that you all should strive to do. Folks, I hope this story and this small little lesson helped you. And I hope it helps hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of other women out there to strive to find those opportunities that will benefit them and their families. Because whether it's a difficult world out there, an unfair world, the world is what you make it. So it's time to make the world whatever you want it to be. If you like this video, check this one out. How to save 10% of your money. And while you're at it, why don't you subscribe to this channel? Like this video, and also click that little alerts button, smash that alerts button, so that you're notified every single time we put a new video up. Go out there and get resourceful.